for taking my call. I had some comments on FedEx Sam's call yesterday, too. I had already used my call. But, it centered around emotion. The high school girl that got deported right before she was going to graduate. Now, reading Dr. Sowell's books teaches you to question, things. Now, do we think that ICE was combing Louisiana high school rosters to find illegal aliens? I don't think they were.
No, and I'm the one that brought up that story actually, and had mentioned in the article that I read that she and her father had actually gone for a routine check-in with immigration officials when they were detained.
Right, but cases like that, they tug on your heartstrings. That's true.
Absolutely.
But they do. But the person that discovered them, that discovered a high school senior about to graduate and her father, they don't have the purview to say, "Hey, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you off with a warning this time. Don't illegally immigrate here again." They can't do that. When they discover them, they have to turn them in. And it's not their judgment to make a call. Now, people get outraged about that, but where was the outrage when we saw the caravans of humanity pouring towards us? We all saw that for 4 years under Biden. And I didn't hear FedEx Sam or anyone on the left call in saying, "Hey, when those people get here, it's not the American taxpayers' responsibility to take care of these people, to provide for them or to allow them into our country." But we didn't hear any of that. Because they feel like America is bad because we're successful. In their false economic understanding that wealth is a zero-sum game, they believe that we have more because we took it from someone else. And so now the other people are coming and we have to give it back to them. That's what drives them. That's what drives them. Cases like this they'll point to. They won't point to any of the murders. I've seen on Facebook hundreds of pictures of people who've been murdered by illegal aliens or women who've been raped. They don't ever talk about them. And so they want, with these heart-tugging stories, to lower our enforcement of our immigration laws. And it helps to get away from the emotion. Look at the shoplifting. In areas where Democrats were in control, they lowered the penalties or just quit enforcing shoplifting penalties. And what happened in those areas? We had proliferation of shoplifting. It's human nature. And so we can't be judged. We can't judge our governance by emotion. It speaks to an immaturity among the people who are pitching a fit. That's the only way I can say it. What's happening in Minnesota is they're pitching a fit. They don't like what's happening. Now, the vast majority of them is for the heartstring reasons. The people, Tim Walz and the Democrat hierarchy, they're doing it because they don't want to lose representation in Congress. And they don't care what these people, that young girl who's about to graduate, she was like 10, you said, when she came, and her dad, they don't care what dangers those people face to get here. They just want the count. They want the representation in Congress. And we have got to see that as diabolical. It's never happened any other way. If FedEx Sam could call in and give us instances where Republicans are using people in that same way, then I'll be right beside him to condemn them. I don't have any great love for Republicans. They've not lived up to their code. But in this instance, we can't be judged by emotion or sympathy or a desire for mercy. Those institutions are the family and the church. The government has to maintain the rule of law, or we're no longer a nation of rule of law. Anyways, I didn't mean to take so long, but thanks for letting me speak my piece. And it was a great segment yesterday. Y'all have a great day.
Thanks. Appreciate that. What I just have never been able to kind of get out of my head over the last 4 years was the horrific things that young women were put through who were coming to this country. I was reading a post yesterday who was talking about how between 60 to 80%, catch that number, 60, 80% of Central American women and girls were raped on their journey through Mexico toward the U.S. border. Women were told to take birth control before they left home because they were expected to be raped on the way here. It's not an unfortunate possibility, they write, in your open border fantasy. It's the operating assumption. They happen under trees in the desert where underwear is hung like trophies, and I've seen pictures of this, in stash houses where women are lined up and passed around to pay off smuggling debts, in buses and safe houses controlled by men you'll never name. They happen to women who have no police to call, no lawyer, no camera, no hashtag. Their suffering existed for years without your protest, and she's addressing this to the celebrity crowd that's suddenly making all their voices heard on what's going on. Without your essays, without your threads, not one of you virtual signaling fake care about. Where were you when American citizens were being killed by men who never should have been here in the first place? That's the point I was making. Where were you when your marches for the families who buried daughters and wives because someone you insist is no threat drove drunk for the third time, or stabbed someone in an alley, or shot a woman on a pier after multiple deportations? Those are all real things that happened, by the way. Where were your social media crusades for the women joggers who never made it home because they ran into a man who walked through an open door that you demanded stay open? You didn't flood the streets for the women and girls raped on the route. You didn't fill your feeds with their names, faces, or stories. You didn't camp outside cartel-safe houses. You looked away. And then the second you were offered a domestic villain with a badge and an American flag patch, you suddenly discovered your conscience. Don't remember why? Say their name marches. Now you have the audacity to turn all that emotion and rage not at the man running the rape trees in the stash houses, not at the repeat violent offenders who kill Americans and illegals alike, but at the agents whose job is to find them, arrest them, and get them out of the country. You're not brave. You're not compassionate. You're morally bankrupt and brainwashed useful idiots for a communist movement you don't even understand. You operate only on emotion and have no logic or common sense that would even allow you to realize how stupid you look. And it kind of goes on from there, but I really appreciated her thoughts. Her name is Barbie on Twitter. She says, I don't know anything more embarrassing than these virtue signaling brainwashed pod people. That was pretty powerful stuff. All right, let's take a break.
KSYL.
Tired of that same plumbing issue? Call Southern Air Heating and Cooling. Plumbing problems, large or small, Southern Air will fix them all. And you'll get service with no delay from certified technicians the very same day. Take advantage of our $99 drain clearing special and our 0% financing for those larger jobs. Call Southern Air Heating and Cooling at 318-777-5555 or visit us online at southernairnow.com. The official heating and cooling provider for LSU football.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
This year, I'm giving my hair salon a total makeover.
Total makeover sounds totally expensive.
We updated our logo and colors, so I needed to print new signage, brochures, business cards, everything.
Everything will not be cheap.
Staples did it all, and I saved $100 on my order.
$100? Trim my whiskers, that's a good deal. For everything your business needs to print, let's go Staples.
That was easy.
Offer valid in-store and online. Ends 1/31. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Now back to Talk Back. 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL.
All right, back on this Friday morning. Alan Stephen with you at 318-442-8255. Let's talk a little bit about what you did yesterday. Always a busy day. What were some of your highlights, do you feel like, for the day yesterday? Trying to remember yesterday.
Honestly, I'm not being smart. Oh, we went to Bulletproof Outfitters off of 28 East in Pineville.
So that's a new business?
They've been around for a little while, but
okay,
a little bit newer. They, of course, sell guns, ammo, self-defense gear.
Mm-hmm.
But they really focus on safety classes, teaching everyone how to take care of themselves, protect themselves. And Daniel, who runs the place, fantastic. Great shop. Show me some of his pistols. There's a couple that I wish I had. And but yeah, if you're into the class, I know a lot of people around here, we all grew up around guns and hunting and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But their classes might be really helpful just to kind of remind you on the law, on some safety tactics, and how to properly carry.
So you can actually shoot guns there? Do they have like a...
No, there's no range there.
Okay,
But they
that's
have
what I-
other options and stuff.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, all the classes seem great. Me and my wife might do one as well, just so, she can learn some things, I can learn some things, and I think it's fantastic. Great stuff. I'll have videos on that coming up next week.
Okay.
So,
Nice.
good. And then news-wise, it was honestly kind of a slow day for me. I was
Yeah.
just trying to catch up on some things, and
Yeah.
we highlighted the Olympic lifting team they had over at 28 Fitness in Pineville. They competed up north in Louisiana and won an award there, and kind of just highlighted some of the things they do. If you're interested in a different kind of exercise and sport, Olympic lifting is a lot of fun. Very frustrating too, but in a good way. And yeah, pretty busy day today too. We'll see.
Man, there was a guy back in the 70s that was always in the Olympics from Russia. Like the biggest, stockiest dude. And his name is like lodged somewhere in the back of my brain. Some of you that listen to this show that would have been maybe kids or even young adults in the 70s remember that guy. He always won the gold medal.
Yeah.
But that kind of got me interested in watching powerlifting.
Well, that's different, but powerlifting is good.
Yeah. So this is more what kind of lifting?
Olympic lifting is a power snatch, or
Oh,
you say
okay.
snatch, and a clean and jerk. So, exactly, I know. We make those jokes all the time now. Don't need to smile. And then powerlifting is like bench press, squats,
Yeah.
all those kind of things.
Gotcha.
The old snatch and clean and jerk.
Also reminds me of the SNL skit when they did the all drug Olympics and Phil Hartman
I don't think I've seen that
he
one.
rips his arms out of the socket because he's trying to lift the heavy weight.
That's
That's
classic.
gotta hurt.
The all drug Olympics. Yeah. But
Yes.
snatches are cool, fun exercise, and clean and jerk, they say, is the true test of a man's strength.
Yeah. Now I saw you interviewed Nate Jansen for that, who
Yep.
used to be the strength and conditioning coach and assistant football coach at LC after a very stellar playing career over there.
Yeah, he's one of the owners of 28 Fitness now, so he's
Nice.
the full-time coach there.
Yeah. Yeah, we mentioned this the other day, kind of that tree of talent that came out of LC in the Dennis Dunn era when it comes to strength and conditioning coaches, which really started with Ty Webb, who I think is at Purdue now, I believe, and have had other guys like Jared Myatt, who's assistant strength coach at Indiana, a school that just won the national championship. Nate was part of that tree as well, so that's cool. More in the private sector now.
Yep. So,
Nice.
great operation they have there. I used to go to when it was called CrossFit 28 for a couple of years. Loved it.
Mm-hmm.
They've revamped it a lot. It's fantastic. Nice steam room, ice bath, or sauna, I should say. And lots of good equipment. So you don't have to do CrossFit. You can do anything you want.
Can I go there just for the steam room?
Mm-hmm. You could pay for it, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. We have one at the LAC, though.
Not steam room, it's a sauna. So
Sauna.
it'd be dry heat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I like saunas.
Yeah.
Those are good, too.
Those are good, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the steam room a lot, but they're both
Before I got married and I was working in northern Wisconsin, I found an apartment to rent from a couple. They were from Finland,
oh, they
and-
love that stuff.
and they had a steam room in their basement that they
Yeah.
built. And so they're like, yeah, anytime. My apartment was basically kind of like a maid's quarters over their garage. It was a 2-bedroom apartment, really nice. And like they were gone a lot. And they're like, anytime you want to, use the sauna for the rest of the house. I'm like, okay, cool.
Anytime
So-
you want to use the sauna.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's they're nice. We should normalize that more.
It's very healthy for you.
I do hate ice baths. It's not my thing.
Yeah. I've
Hate 'em.
I've not done one of those.
I don't know if anybody really likes them.
Yeah.
You just do it and you feel the pain.
Well, I
and you say
know
you feel
like
better.
one of the recent health trends has been like the cold plunges.
That's pretty much what it is.
Right.
Just really freezing cold ice bath.
But there are actually like tubs you can get that make the water really cold at your house, and you can.
That's what they have at 28. It's like this fancy tub thing with.
Yeah.
It looks really nice. So
Used to
I
be they
hate it.
just would dump a bunch of ice into a like a
It's just complicated.
whirlpool.
Yeah, you have to go buy
so-
ice and.
yeah. But these cold plunge tubs they do it automatically, right? They just make it cold.
Yeah, and if you follow like fitness trends, some of them are just like the mouth tape is a new one, and then you have the cold plunge and the saunas, and then both of them at the, right after the other, Just put down the cakes and the ice cream and the beer, and you'll be all right.
Speaking of which, I brought Stephen a slice of king cake this morning.
I'll still eat cake, though. Moderation is key, but not during king cake season.
This is not your moderation season.
No, I love king cake.
Yeah.
That's
It's
why I
good.
love Mardi Gras.
I brought him one from Rue 22. We talked about it on the air yesterday. Really, really good, by the way.
We'll bring up immigration again so people will talk to us. No one cares about me, so.
Oh, we have plenty of topics to get into here this morning.
Going back to the whole immigration thing, I think stories like the high schooler who was deported, and
yeah.
You know, I know we talk about emotions, but they're important stories to tell.
Yes.
One, so we know what's going on, and two, it could help form future legislation. If, like Tom Homan says, if you want to make change, do it with Congress. And so, obviously, we all think there needs to be change of some sort. I'm sure they're completely opposite of what we want, depending on where you live in the country.
Yeah.
I think open border, and we always equate people that have been here illegally as just blanket open border stuff. Of course, that's been a problem, but I don't think open borders is not something that's really widely accepted. I know we hear it on the news with some of the left, but I don't think most Americans really like that.
Right.
And I can try and find the polling
And we've seen the impact of it, especially in Europe, too.
Yeah.
That it's changed so many of the dynamics of Europe, and not in really a good way. In fact, some very terrible ways.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as I said yesterday, I'm all about immigration. I love the fact that we're a country that people want to come to. But especially if they want to assimilate in the society and contribute to it, then I'm even more for it. But it's when people are coming with either nefarious purposes to do harm or damage, or if they're coming just for the handouts. I mean, we got enough of that already with our own people. We don't need to add to that. So,
I don't know. I'm thinking we could deport some of ours and leave some of them.
Right.
You know, just because they work and try really hard. And we always say that people go, and I get it. I know people personally who have seen those things and been subjected to that across the border.
Yeah.
But they're here trying to make their best life.
Right.
You know, here they understand, and a lot of them are Trump supporters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, it's not so black and white. And that's me not putting emotion to it. There's so many different facets of it.
Well, and someone I raised this point with me yesterday concerning that article I read, or that commentary. Imagine how bad it must be where they're coming from if they're willing to endure that just to get here. You know?
That's what I'm saying. I understand. We got to follow the law.
Yeah.
I agree with getting out criminals.
You know, hey, there's plenty of people that don't love America anymore, and they think it's the worst country in the world.
Yeah.
So we could negotiate some trades.
Well, we could do like minor league baseball where we do like players for baseball bats or something. You know?
Exactly. Players to be named later.
It's not. I don't mean to joke about it. It's not fun. It's a horrible situation all the way around.
Right.
But can't cry, just laugh, I guess. So.
There's a comedian that I've been watching his clips more and more. Kind of a burly guy, beard, glasses. And he sometimes uses language, but he's funny. And he's like fearless when it comes to, because we went through that period with COVID where, or, you know, right around that time where comedians were getting canceled all over the place.
Yeah. It was kind of ridiculous.
Now I'm seeing like the opposite, where like you have comedians that are just saying stuff that's like almost outrageous, like they don't care anymore. But this guy, he was talking about how the left talks about how terrible America is, yet they want all these people to come here. And the right, they talk about how great America is, but they don't want anyone to come here. And I was like, that's actually a pretty brilliant observation.
Comedians are some of the smartest people.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, we need to take.
Well, we're not funny, you know.
Well, we don't even try to be most of the time. Sometimes we fall into it.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, back right after this.
I'll teach.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics.
FIFA World Cup 2026 is coming soon, but your opportunity to be there starts now through an exclusive offer with an eligible Bank of America Visa credit card. For a limited time, become a new customized cash rewards or unlimited cash rewards Visa credit card holder, and you will be eligible for a chance to purchase FIFA World Cup 2026 tickets. Learn more at BofA.com/cardFWC26. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America N.A. in partnership with Visa. Terms apply. Warranties reserved.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Need office supplies, janitorial supplies, or office furniture, either new or pre-owned? Then look no further than DTW Office Supply, with wholesale prices on a large selection of top quality products, all with the personalized hometown service that you deserve. We're proud to serve the entire state of Louisiana with daily deliveries right to your door. Visit us today at 1219 MacArthur Drive or online at dtwofficesupply.com. That's DTW Office Supply, your trusted partner for all of your office needs. Quality, value, service.
Got a big day ahead of you? Then it's best to fuel up with some of Cenla's best at Bricato's restaurant. Walk right in and just smell that home-style cooking. Place your order, take a seat, and do breakfast right till 9:30 this morning. Get fresh biscuits, eggs any way you like them, melt-in-your-mouth pancakes, grits, hash browns, sausage, bacon, even wraps and sandwiches. And don't forget their fresh brewed coffee. Bricato's restaurant, 28 West, right across from the Coliseum. Your breakfast is waiting for you.
Now back to Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, we're at the top of the hour, but let's try to get one more call in. Good morning, you're on Talkback.
Yeah, well, I have to concede that apparently the Lady Tigers appear to be competitive.
They're figuring it out, is what you're saying?
Well, yeah, but I guess they're still not. There's some place in the upper tier of the conference. It'll be interesting to see if they manage to eke out the top.
Ah, okay. All right. Well, keep us posted on all that, and you can call back next hour if you have more, because we're at the top of the hour. We have much more coming up in hour number 2. We'll talk with you on the other side of the news.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenla Broadcasting.
AM 970, FM 104.9, KSYL, and KRRV 100.3, HD3, Alexandria.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump has unveiled his pick to replace Jerome Powell as Federal Reserve Chair. The name, Kevin Warsh, a former Federal Reserve governor.
Warsh has been echoing the president's calls for lower interest rates. Bankrate economic analyst Sarah Foster says if Warsh is confirmed as chair, he would still only be one vote.
He's probably going to need to bring very convincing evidence if he's going to get officials to step off the sidelines.
Foster says current chair Jerome Powell has fought hard to keep the Fed out of politics.
A lot of lawmakers and markets are going to need whoever Trump nominates to really prove to them that he will remain politically independent.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Powell's term expires in May. We've just gotten word the FBI is taking over the investigation into ICU nurse Alex Pretty's shooting death by federal agents in Minneapolis. We've also learned Don Lemon is under arrest after he entered a Minnesota church and recorded anti-ICE protesters who disrupted the service. His attorney says the former CNN host was taken into custody by federal agents in L.A. He was there covering the Grammy Awards. Parts of the Southeast still struggling to recover from last weekend's crippling winter storm are bracing for another. Meteorologist Craig Allen.
Winter weather alerts cover hundreds of miles across the lower mid-Atlantic states, currently from north sections of Georgia into the eastern parts of Tennessee and Kentucky on up into West Virginia. It also includes some midsections of Virginia.
Tens of thousands of people in Mississippi still have no power. The Northeast Electric Power Association's Keith Hayward.
The roads were completely locked up, very, very dangerous. Trees across the roads that we could not get through to even get to some of our customers.
The main border crossing between Gaza and Egypt will reopen Sunday after a 2-year closure. Linda Gradstein reports from Jerusalem.
The reopening of the Rafah border crossing is part of the U.S. brokered ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas in Gaza and comes after Hamas returned the body of the last remaining Israeli hostage. Israel will supervise the exit of Gazans to Egypt remotely, but Palestinians who want to enter Gaza from Egypt will have to be screened by Israel at an Israeli-run checkpoint.
Alpine skiing star Lindsey Vonn has spoken about competing at the ripe young age of 41.
Physically in possibly the best shape I've ever been in, which is fun.
It was no fun today when she crashed in her final downhill race in Switzerland before next week's Winter Olympics in Italy. Vonn was airlifted for medical checks. The CEO of the International Ski and Snowboard Federation says she hurt her left knee. She has a partial implant in her right. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsor.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%. And there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-990-3434. That's 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434.
The Grammys are Sunday.
Will it be Sabrina's night? Sabrina Carpenter up for 6 awards at the Grammys, including Album of the Year. Then there's Kendrick Lamar leading the nominations, 9 total, including Song of the Year for Luther. Bad Bunny, he could win the first ever Album of the Year for a Spanish language record. That's for Debí Tirar Más Fotos. Matt Wolf, CBS News.
Think you're doing the healthy thing when you pick up a roast chicken at Costco for dinner? A couple of women in California are suing the company over its $4.99 Kirkland seasoned rotisserie birds. They claim the claims of preservative-free birds are false. The company admits they contain sodium phosphate and carrageenan for moisture retention and texture. Costco says both additives are approved by food safety authorities. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm Colleen Crane. We're facing another bitterly cold weekend. LSU health climatologist Barry Keim says temperatures will drop later today as another Arctic air mass moves into the state.
By tomorrow morning, temperatures are going to be in the 20s statewide. We're looking at low 20s across northern parishes, mid-20s in central Louisiana, and only high 20s even in coastal parishes.
Keim says Saturday will also be windy, and the wind chill will make it feel more like the teens and possibly single digits in some areas. Louisiana has one of the highest rates of flu this season, and large crowds at Mardi Gras parades could increase the risk of contracting the virus. Dr. Sandra Kimmerly with Ochsner Health says the weather will play a major role in the chances of seeing a spike in infections.
If the weather's nice and people are outside and spending more time outdoors enjoying parades, that's far better than being in closed spaces with a lot of people around that could be sick.
LRN. Flying is about to get more expensive for those without TSA-approved identification, like a real ID.
Starting Sunday, travelers without an acceptable form of identification will have to pay a $45 fee to verify their identity so they can get through the TSA checkpoint. They can get verified through a link available on the TSA's website. TSA spokesperson Gervais Jobert says once their ID is verified, they will receive a proof of purchase that will allow them to fly for a 10-day period.
You can travel as many times as you want within that 10 days. Once that 10 days expires, you'll have to go through the process all over again.
Jobert says if you plan on flying on a regular basis, getting the real ID will reduce the financial cost. I'm Andre Champagne.
Rockin' 1000 is tomorrow night in the Superdome, and the musicians were busy with section rehearsals yesterday. Music director Daniel Plint says keeping that many people on tempo is accomplished with a special track piped into each musician's headphones.
We have a click track that is the same, let's say, a metronome for everybody, so they know that they need to play to that tempo.
LRN.
This is Dr. Jonathan Hunter with the clinics. We provide primary, family, and chronic care along with gastroenterology, podiatry, with on-site lab and x-ray services. I'm pleased to welcome family physician Dr. Noah Miller to our team. We are currently accepting new patients and same-day appointments are available. If you're admitted into the hospital, our doctors will see you there as well. Most insurance and Medicare are accepted. The clinic's on North Bolton, 445-9823, and online at theclinics.us.
Well, good morning. A dry, cool front worked its way across the state overnight, and with that, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies today. 47 will do it for the afternoon high. A northerly breeze at about 10. It's going to gust as high as 20. Tonight, mostly cloudy. We'll get down to 23 for the overnight low. And for Saturday, we'll start out as mostly cloudy, gradually turning sunny. Afternoon highs, though, only near 34. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Grayson.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
I also want to remember the politicians are continually attacking us. Where were they the last 4 years when the number of women, children, sex trafficking went all-time high? Where were they when 250,000 Americans died from fentanyl coming across the border? Where were they when women and children are dying making that journey? Where were they where over 4,000 aliens making that journey died, historic record? Where were they? Not a word. Now we're just trying to respond to what happened the last 4 years and keeping this country safe. And we're arresting a lot of public safety trusts, take them off the streets, which makes this country safer. President Trump promised to make this country safe again, and that's what we're doing.
All right, that was Tom Homan yesterday at a news conference, and I thought really just represented himself very well. Let me say it that way. Welcome back, everyone. Hour number 2 of Talkback here on KSYL. I'm Al Quartermont along with Stephen Maxwell. Open line on this Friday for you at 318-442-8255. I missed the old Rush Limbaugh Open Line Friday.
Yeah. That time slot has not been the same.
No, it just hasn't.
But going back to the immigration.
Yeah.
It's just such a complicated issue. There's so much going on. We talk about the open border situation, and we talk about, who we should deport. And then on top of that, you have reports of Americans getting detained or arrested, asking for their papers. And then we have, were the ICE or federal agent killings justified? There's just so many facets to this. And I think sometimes we just get on each side of our camp and stay there no matter what, instead of looking at each situation separately.
Yeah.
And going off that.
No, I agree with you, but I think in a lot of ways the political types have fomented that.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. But we have to stop falling for it.
Right.
So, and judge each situation as it is. Open borders, bad. Killing Americans, bad. Racially profiling, bad. Following the law, good. There's just so many different things. And that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
One man's opinion on a show that solicits opinions at 318-442-8255 on the BOM Bank talk line.
And look, let me rephrase the killing the Americans part. That's still being adjudicated. That's still under investigation. But that's, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Try to avoid that.
Of course, people will argue back. Don't put yourself in that situation.
That's why I'm holding off judgment on those.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's go to the phones this morning. Good morning, you're on Talkback. Okay, let's try another one. Good morning, you're on Talkback. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
I don't really want to be on the air, but I just wanted to ask you if you ever heard of the cloud seeding, the spread in the sky. I got a website that might be interested in checking on if you ain't never heard about that. It's geoengineeringwatch.org. That if you ever get a chance to look at that, that might be something that you'll bring up in a subject. It's in dealing with all the climate change stuff and all that kind of thing, stuff that the government is doing, spraying stuff in the air. But instead of me telling a whole lot about it, if you're interested in going to that website, it's Dan Whittington or Wigington or something like that that's put it out, and he talks all about it. You might find pretty interesting.
Yeah, appreciate that. No, that's been something has definitely been raised in the past. Even, after Hurricane Helene, there was a lot of suggestion of that. And one of those things where some people believe it very strongly and some people deny it very strongly. But yeah, I don't think our government is above doing things that we're not aware of.
Yeah, it seems pretty crazy. But what gets to me is they say they're doing it to keep the Earth from warming, but they spraying right now, and the Earth is cool.
Mm-hmm.
People dying it's too cold.
That's right. That's right.
And then you got a lot thinking we got too much population. They want to kill people. So I kind of wonder if that ain't some of the background to it, trying to lessen the population.
There's enough out there to make you wonder, for sure.
Yeah, but that's a website that if you interested, get a chance to look at it, might further a little more interest into it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for the call this morning.
All right, thank you. Bye.
All right, take care. Again, 318-442-8255 is our phone number. Yeah, cloud seeding, chemtrails. That's a whole other area we could go into.
Don't have much to say on that.
No.
Interesting, though.
All right. So another story that's been kind of popping again is election integrity, I guess, which has some facets to it right now. Now, in Congress, there's a big push to pass what's called the SAVE Act. That basically would require voter ID for elections. And I saw the Democratic talking point is, and I saw Kelly, the congressman from Arizona, say this, that it'll make it harder for people to vote if we require them to have ID. Of course, every other aspect of your life, you need to have an ID. Are there really that many Americans today that don't have an ID or have the capability of getting one? I don't think so. And second point with that, the majority of countries around the world that held elections require IDs before you can vote. So I do think that would be a very prudent thing to get done. And we'll see if the Senate can pass it and if it actually gets through. Second component to this is what's going on down in Georgia right now, where there was the feds were down there, the FBI, making a bust, if you will, and what could potentially come out of that remains to be seen. But a lot of it dates back to what happened in 2020, and some people feel very strongly that there was a lot of funny business that went on during that election. I think statistically, when you analyze what happened, just after the polls closed in those states that Trump was leading, and then to all of a sudden be turned around completely. The statistical probability of that is insane. Improbability of that is insane. So I think it's actually good. Maybe once and for all we can find out, is there something to this? But as it's being reported, they always phrase it the same way. I don't know if you catch that. President Trump's unproven claims that the election was, just say claims, I mean, they always have to like salt it with a little extra dig, I've noticed.
We'll wait and see what the investigation says. We've had this for 6 years now, waiting for significant evidence besides talking points. And I get it. There's concerns. We should always check our elections. I only know from experience in Louisiana, doing multiple stories, including spending a majority of my time in Shreveport covering the Caddo Parish Sheriff's race that out of, tens of thousands of votes, it came down to one vote. One vote.
That's crazy.
And the process as to how they go about verifying those mail-in ballots, how they verify and double-check and triple-check and quadruple-check. And people say, well, these things, why does it take so long to do this? And why does it take so long to do this? Because they're vetting. Yeah. There's a lot of vetting involved.
Right.
And if you talk to the officials, which they working in, and they're part of the system, they all say it's very, very secure and safe in Louisiana.
Right.
I can't speak to Georgia.
Yeah.
And I can't speak to whatever the other controversial states are.
Yeah. Well, Wisconsin is a state with, I want to say about 4 million people, 3.5, 4 million.
I thought it was bigger than that. Louisiana's about 4, huh?
Let me double check quick. How many people live in Wisconsin? Okay, 6 million. Okay. But there's been stories going around how they had like registered voters, like the number was over like 7 million. Like they had more voters registered than people actually live there. So that's raised some questions.
There needs to be lots of scrutiny on our elections. It's the most important thing we do, right?
Yeah,
and
that's
I understand
what I'm
that.
saying. We've got to get back to where people really feel confident and trust. And then the second thing with that.
But it has to be founded criticism, like actually.
But then the second thing with that, more importantly, people need to actually go vote.
That would be a good start, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, look, the voter ID thing, we've been talking about this since I think I've been alive, right? And I've tried to see both sides. And you're right, the one criticism is it disenfranchises certain people in America. The one side claims if there is voter ID. But I think in today's day and age, and look, I don't know everyone's personal experiences. It just makes sense that you have to verify who you are in some way possible.
Right. I mean, you can't travel without an ID. You can't fly. You can't pick up your medication at the pharmacy without an ID. You can't do business at the bank without an ID. I mean, every other aspect of our lives, we have IDs required. And then when it comes to the integrity of our elections, I don't feel like that's a high bar. I really don't. I feel like that's a basic bar.
And if you can't go through the process and afford a $20, $40 driver's license, and I'm not meaning that sarcastically. We're almost to the point in time where you probably, get the mark of the beast now, and you just scan your thumb, and you'll have your biometrics, and that'll be fairly simple. But there are times when mail-in ballots would probably be necessary for military, for other reasons and all that.
Yeah.
And I get it.
Very limited. Should be very limited.
Yes.
So, anywho, let's take some calls. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Fulton County, Georgia, isn't that the place where they had that water main break about 2 o'clock in the morning on election night, and kind of everybody had to get out for a while? And if your voter records, if you're so confident your voter records are okay, why do you put up a fuss?
Yeah.
If anybody wants them,
right?
Go ahead and show them.
Yeah.
And as far as immigration, I mean, you have if we have laws, and the country has already changed. You have congressmen advocating breaking laws. I mean, why don't they propose to change laws? No, they want to ignore laws and not enforce laws. The Democrat Party has already been taken over. It's gone, and it's to the point where they want to change the U.S. government and the country we have, not by a democratic process. They have to change the process if they can't get the way they want. And so immigration has already changed this country. And the Democrat Party has already gone. The Chinese guy you spoke about, they had an article about him recently where he is definitely funding the organizations in Minneapolis. And it's radical, and it's revolution. They're promoting revolution of this country and the existing government the way it is now. So it's no longer black and white. I mean, I'm sorry. Maybe it's just black and white. It's no longer gray.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious that what they want and how they would do it would not be through the process that we have established in this country. So, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate your thoughts. We need to take a break. More coming up.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
Some smiles sound like this, while others sound this way. If you'd like to improve the way your smile sounds, the folks over at Today's Dental in Pineville can deliver. Over the years, hundreds of Central Louisiana patients have visited Today's Dental and then left completely satisfied. Their dental implant procedure is amazingly simple, low anxiety, and completely affordable. Today's technology makes your beautiful smile easier than ever. The staff at Today's Dental go out of their way to make you comfortable with calming in-office IV sedation that's administered by a highly skilled certified nurse anesthetist. And their multiple finance options make the entire procedure truly affordable. Want your smile to sound better? Give Today's Dental a call at 318-448-4540. It's a general dental facility on Highway 28 East in Pineville, owned by Dr. Jonas Goche. That's 318-448-4540.
A message from Israel Air Conditioning and Heating.
Yeah, my mama, she told me to pick up and call Israel Air. She told me Israel Air. She told me. She said they'll come a-running with comfort beyond compare.
And a very fair price.
Because you know we're all about your comfort, no troubles. Call 442-6657. That's 442-6657. We're all about your comfort,
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talkback.
All right, Jonathan Turley, constitutional law expert, Fox News contributor. All right, Jonathan, you heard this all day from Democrats and others. It's 6 years later, machine recount, 2 recounts, a machine count, confirming the results of the election. A lot of eye rolling by Democrats and media types. So what's the point in going back?
Well, that's a very good question, but we do have a court order here. So a judge found that there was probable cause to allow the seizure of this material. And that's just not given for any reason. The judge had to conclude that there was a basis for this. We don't know what caused this search. We will have to see. You know, when the election was occurring, many of us said at the time that we did not see evidence of mass fraud, and that certainly is still the case. But there was a lot of frustration by people who were going to court to try to get access to these ballots. They were largely refused in many states. And so this is a very significant step that these are now in control of the FBI and can be reviewed. Now, whether there's anything there, it's hard to tell. We have to see what this judge felt was a basis for this search, and it's quite an extensive search at that.
All right, that was Jonathan Turley on Fox News last night talking about the ballot situation in Georgia, Fulton County. It would be nice just to get this story resolved one way or another.
Yeah, if we don't know what, the warrant was for or anything. It's hard to say.
Yeah, yeah.
We shall wait and see.
Yes, we shall.
Did you see what's happening over in Arizona? So the state legislature there passed like a recommendation to Congress saying to repeal the 17th Amendment, which that allows senators, U.S. senators, to be chosen by popular vote in the state. Repealing it would bring it back to pre-1913, when that was ratified, to where the state legislatures would pick senators. And of course, repealing an amendment is a pretty, very, very difficult task, but it's something I think you're hearing a lot more on, X and from the right, going back to where the legislature picks the U.S. senators.
Interesting.
And there's pros and cons, I'm sure, to both,
Yeah.
I think back then, an issue was cronyism in the state legislature, of course.
Really?
This, that, and the other.
Politics?
But
Cronyism?
it just brings it back to, very strong states' rights. It would probably make the state legislature more relevant.
Yes.
It could have those pitfalls, too, that we just talked about. But then again, if you pick a U.S. senator for popular vote, that's what the people want.
Yeah.
Well, interesting conversation.
As you're saying that, I'm playing it out in my head. Let's apply it to this current Senate race coming up in Louisiana. If the state legislature, it were up to them to pick who would be senator among the current crop of announced candidates, which one do you think the legislature would support?
That's a really tough one. Yeah, because the Democrats would have a much larger say in that as well,
Yeah.
too. I don't know how many they have now, but they'd have to get some of them on board for a specific candidate possibly, and this, that, and the other.
And the governor would hold probably a large sway.
I would say Letlow would be
That's what I'm
one.
thinking, too.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
with the governor's sway. And then the governor could use the pick that Trump wants and say, hey, if you want funding for that Calcasieu Bridge, you want that money, then you gotta vote Letlow.
So it used to be done that way. I didn't realize that. I learned something this morning.
It's interesting.
Yeah. All right. So I'm sure some of our constitutional experts out there knew that, but let's go to the phones again. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
I'm not a constitutional expert. Told you before, you guys talk about AI. Remember, I told you I have NI or LI. That's no intelligence or little intelligence. But, I was thinking yesterday, like I'm 80 years old. So, I think I've seen stuff, I think I'm pretty observant. And sometimes I get these crazy things that run through my head. And I remember fact or fable, the story of the Trojan horse. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's fact or fable, but isn't that much like what's going on with the illegal people in our country?
100%.
Yeah. Well, it just sort of come into my mind. And like I said, here's another stupid one I was thinking of. When I was thinking about the condition that we're in, I remember this little story. I think as children growing up, when I was growing up, a lot of these little poems and fables and things like that were meant to teach us stuff.
Absolutely. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I was thinking about Humpty Dumpty.
The guy who sat on the wall?
Yeah, Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a fall. All the king's horse and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty back together again. Does that sound like America or what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
A good metaphor for what's going on in America.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm working on something. I'll call maybe in the next couple of weeks when I really get it all put together. Some associates and I are working on something. And you know the old saying, if you can't beat them, join them?
Yeah. You're going to start throwing trash around? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, this is what we're doing. We're coming up with a Facebook page.
Okay.
And there's going to be some contests going on that people can win. Okay, and the Facebook thing is going to be, you trash it. Okay, and it's capital U, TRASHIT. You trash it. But I'll call you with the contest rules in a couple of weeks when I get it all formulated.
Okay. I love it.
Be some good prizes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Sounds
all right.
good.
God bless. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
I hope I sound that good when I'm 80.
I was going to say, I don't really know what an 80-year-old would sound like. Is there like a general 80-year-old sound? But he doesn't sound like one.
No. He sounds like a man with a lot of vitality left, which I don't even feel like I have at 60.
I hear you. But
what am I doing wrong?
That's what I'm saying. Not worrying about litter, I guess.
I guess.
But I had a pertinent thing to say, but I've forgot it. So like that vitality thing we were saying.
It comes and goes. By the way, the Trojan horse story, according to AI on Google, is considered a legend or a myth, not a historically verified event.
Okay, so the majority of illegal immigrants are Hispanic.
Yes.
And that was a demographic the president was picking up on.
100%.
So that kind of,
no, you're right.
Some of the talking points are a little confusing to me.
Well,
because they have a lot of the same family traditional values.
Yeah.
And you're talking about assimilating. They might have more of your conservative values than a lot of white people up north.
No, you're right. You're right. I think the conventional thinking on that was if you bring them here and put them on benefits, you just add more to a voter block. And also, with states like California, bringing in a huge amount increases your overall census population, and then you get more representatives.
I get it.
You know, so more money. It's always about money at the end of the day.
Yeah. But still, we say we need to leave emotion out of it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's just a human condition.
Yeah.
Emotion is always going to be a part of something.
Right.
You have emotions on why you believe things too. Plain and simple. But I get what you're saying.
Emotional, baby.
Emotional damage. You ever seen that meme? Emotional damage.
No.
I guess that's for the younger folks.
Okay. I'll have to look it
You
up.
are showing your 60s.
I
Lord
know.
have mercy.
I know. Old man here. All right, we need to take a break. More calls are coming up.
Need office supplies, janitorial supplies, or office furniture, either new or pre-owned? Then look no further than DTW Office Supply, with wholesale prices on a large selection of top quality products, all with the personalized hometown service that you deserve. We're proud to serve the entire state of Louisiana with daily deliveries right to your door. Visit us today at 1219 MacArthur Drive or online at dtwofficesupply.com. That's DTW Office Supply, your trusted partner for all of your office needs. Quality, value, service.
I've always wanted to learn French, but the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel. Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different. Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Babbel feels like it was created intentionally by people who really know what you need to learn another language. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Want to really learn another language? Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to save up to 50%. Babbel.com.
Well, good morning. A dry, cool front worked its way across the state overnight. And with that, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies today. 47 will do it for the afternoon high. A northerly breeze at about 10. It's going to gust as high as 20. Tonight, mostly cloudy. We'll get down to 23 for the overnight low. And for Saturday, we'll start out as mostly cloudy, gradually turning sunny. Afternoon highs, though, only near 34. From the Zenlaw Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Grayson.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talkback.
Oh, damn it. You want some therapy?
That's it right there. See, I'm informed. And look, I don't know much about memes or internet culture.
Yeah.
Because I was a little bit younger than me. But I knew that one. But I learned some from my younger brother, who is 19 years old.
Yeah.
They just grew up completely different.
Oh, I know.
Them kids. You know, the Don Lemon thing is really, really interesting. So if we didn't hear earlier, he was arrested for that incident at the Minneapolis church, or St. Paul Church, where he went in with the protesters, interviewed the pastor. Generally speaking, I would think that the courts would side with the journalists, right? However, there's some nuance to it. Because if you watch this content, I don't know how you determine who's a journalist and who's not. There's no journalism card. Or there's no registry to say, hey, I'm a journalist.
Like licensed process.
Yeah, there's no licensing process.
Some have suggested that they have that, but...
There should not be, and there won't be.
Right.
But he is very slanted. It's almost like an opinion piece at this point.
Yeah.
He hates Trump.
He's almost more of a, what's the word? Not caricature, but he's kind of made himself into a joke.
I think a lot, and I think a lot of people on the left, like the really ticked off left people, you know, they kind of like him, I'm sure. And he does hit the streets. He does go out a lot.
A parody of himself.
We just don't know the federal charges yet. They haven't released those. Was it still trespassing? If I was a journalist and I was covering the protests and I saw protesters barge into a private business, barge into a church, whatever, I would not follow them.
Exactly.
I would stay on the sidewalk.
Because you had media law class.
So that's where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
Generally, the courts would side with very strongly with the First Amendment, but he went in there with them, and
well, you have kind of competing First Amendment issues right there, which would be the right to worship versus freedom of speech. However, a church is not considered a public open forum like a street would be. It's a limited public venue. Yes, you're inviting people to come in, just like the mall. Like, you just can't go to the mall and start doing, like, man-on-the-street interviews without getting permission first. You wouldn't go downtown to the cathedral, St. Francis, and just start reporting. You'd have to get permission first.
I went up to a priest the other day and asked if I could go in, so and film.
And so for him to just go in there with them barging in, I think he's on very shaky ground.
Yep.
With that.
It's something I wouldn't do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't go to schools without permission, even if it's like a fun little shoot that the principal hit me up. I hit up the school board, let him know. You got to be very careful.
Yeah.
And you see some of those, like Tucker Carlson's dad.
Yeah.
Like, he was a longtime TV journalist. And you see some of the stuff he did, he would just, like, you barge into the business and you confront the owner.
Yeah.
It was a different time back then.
It was.
But that's kind of illegal.
Well, and that was during the time of, like, you know, everybody wanted to be an investigative reporter, like Woodward and Bernstein, and people were busting up in businesses or doing secret recordings, and it led to a flurry of legal cases that the courts had to kind of sort through all that and set more concretely media law in those areas.
Yep, it's a complicated one. This might just be a statement too from the federal government, but I'd love to see the charges.
Yep.
Because, you know, and me and you, we really hold on to let the journalists be. We take it very seriously. You can't impede upon it, but you can't impede upon other people's rights either.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to be careful as a journalist.
Yep. All right, let's go to the phones. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Oh, hey, Chow.
I-O.
Hey, buddy. Cool.
How's it going?
It's going good. I just wanted to say greetings from Fairchild, Wisconsin.
Oh, you're in Fairchild, which is near Osseo.
Yeah. On the way to Sparta, Wisconsin.
Sparta.
Yeah.
Oh, man. What are you doing up there? Driving the truck?
Oh, yeah. We brought a bunch of Amish furniture up all over Wisconsin. I decided to try something different, and I couldn't wait to call and tell you about my adventures up here in your great state.
How's the weather?
Cold.
Cold?
3 degrees.
Oh.
I woke up to -5. no wind, so I saw one guy with a hooded sweatshirt, a pair of shorts.
That's what Al would
kindly
do.
asked him. Yeah, kindly asked him what he does in the summertime, because. But my question is, where were you at up here? Where are you from?
Well, I grew up in the Milwaukee area, Cudahy.
Okay.
But then the last 10 years we lived in Rhinelander, which is
All right.
up north. Yeah.
Ashland. I was in Ashland earlier.
Oh, okay. Home of the Oredockers. That's the name of their high school team, because they have those huge ore docks up there.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. But, man, that's awesome. I mean, everybody's got a snowmobile, and everybody stops at a bar. That's all I've seen up there. And it's just, yeah. And then you say ice fishing to one person, and you got a congregation of people talking about what they did 5 years ago in ice fishing. But, yeah, I tell you what, it's pretty awesome up here. I mean, the weather's a little cold, but I kind of like it. But,
Well,
yeah, I just wanted to...
Take a trip back in summer. You'll find a different experience.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But, yeah, just wanted to say I was up here, pal.
All right, brother. Good to hear from you. Take care.
Yeah, take care. Bye.
Well, we're talking about, blocking, illegal immigrants who are criminals. I'm not making a lot of this situation. Well, maybe I shouldn't say it. It was a joke, and it might be too far.
Okay.
I was saying we should block off Milwaukee for all the serial killers they produce. Am I right?
There's only one.
No, there is a few.
But Wisconsin in general has had several.
Milwaukee's had a few.
Other than Dahmer? Have they had others?
Ellis, Walter Ellis, David Van Dyke.
Wow.
Christopher Scarver, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, Dahmer.
Yeah, Wisconsin's had some doozies.
Yeah. Ed Gein.
Ed Gein, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is kind of
I think we got a problem over there in Wisconsin.
When I was in college, our intramural team's name, and I did not pick it, and I didn't really even understand it, but it was Ed Gein and the Skinners.
Yeah.
So stupid.
I'm a huge fan of true crime. The serial killer thing morbidly interests me, just how people think like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to take a break from it sometimes. But I hate that we all know their names. Like they get glorified at the end of the day in some weird way.
John Wayne Gacy.
John Wayne, I hate it.
Yeah.
But there's no way around it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Creeps you out. But yeah, block off Wisconsin.
I'll always remember the night that Derek Todd Lee was convicted, and the district attorney for East Baton Rouge Parish, I believe it was at the time, older gentleman, some of you might know his name, but I used the soundbite to open the newscast with, and he said, it was something, let me see if I can remember the exact wording. Tonight, Derek Todd Lee was given Louisiana justice, and Louisiana justice is the death penalty. I was like, that was an awesome soundbite.
My last story that I did at KSLA in Shreveport was on an infamous serial killer from there who's still on death row 40 years later.
Wow.
And one of the victim's family members does live in Alexandria. I talked to him. It's an awful situation.
Yeah.
And so we talked about that, and because the death penalty was a huge thing early in the legislature with Landry, and so it was, it just gets you in a bad place, too. I feel for the investigators and the officers and the victims' families, just having to constantly be reminded. He has to be reminded for 40 years, every single day.
Yeah.
Because his whole family was brutally murdered. It's insane.
Awful. Yeah. All right, we need to take a break.
He's the one who complained about this suspect or the convicted killer. He was the one who complained about no AC in Angola back in the day. Remember that?
Yes. Well, then if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. That's what Beretta said. We'll take a break. We got more callers. We'll come to right when we come back.
KSYL.
Mileage and point junkies use credit cards to strategically collect points or miles. But if you owe money when you pay your income tax this year, should you use a credit card? Usually the answer is no, because third-party payment processors used by Uncle Sam charge service fees as high as 3% on tax payments. But sometimes it makes sense. From America's #1 travel radio show, this is your Arm World Travel Minute. I'm Rudy Maxa. We all pay a service fee when we charge something. It's just built into the price of an item. But an additional 3% to pay taxes, that's a high price to pay. Here are the rules. Never use a card if you can't pay off the balance immediately. But if you get a new credit card that offers a welcome bonus of tens of thousands of points or miles if you spend a certain amount within a short period of time, well, that's worth considering. Those miles or points can more than cover a 3% credit card fee. Or if you have an offer on a new card that grants you a year of use with no interest on unpaid balances, the trade-off may be worth it too. Weigh these options before reaching for that card to pay the tax man. You can find the names of companies that let you use credit cards on the IRS website or travel info at armworldtravel.com.
It's Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Personally think, Al, that you're going to... Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Okay, I personally think you're going to sound great at 80.
Oh.
But one of my favorite comedians is Dave Chappelle. If you're looking for something, I love Dave. When everybody else was going down with the woke thing, he was defying them all, and I thought that was great. One of his funniest skits is about Jesse Smollett being arrested.
Juicy Smollett?
Pull that out.
Juicy Smollett.
Yes, he is so funny about it. And one day I was real sick, and that came on the air, and I got well almost instantly. But anyway, thanks. Y'all are doing a great job. Love. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
I've
that.
seen that skit at least a million times.
Yeah.
It's one of the funniest ones.
Do you
that
ever,
one,
he's like, do you ever notice that the only people that were talking about Juicy Smollett, he's calling him Juicy Smollett, were the black people? You mean to tell me that at 2 a.m. in a Chicago neighborhood, you had two white guys wearing MAGA hats or whatever it was? Like,
and going to a subway at the middle of the night.
Chappelle's brilliant.
What a freaking mess.
Yeah.
That one in the, oh no, what's his name? The atheist tree one? The atheist Bible? Oh,
what about
Dane Cook?
What about the black KKK member when he's blind?
I'm not going to bring that one up. You should check out the Dane Cook atheist not wanting to hear the words "God bless you" when they sneeze.
Okay.
It is so funny.
Or the one where he's delivering milk to the family that has a unique name.
What is that? Yeah,
I can't say it on air.
Comedy makes us just look at things differently in a good way.
Yeah.
It's good for us.
Yeah. And he's taking his share of criticism, too, you know.
You can take things too far, I guess.
Well, he got, during that time period, again, where, you know, the whole people being canceled stuff, if you didn't say the right thing. Like I said, I feel like comedians now are just throwing off the shackles. And they're making jokes, like, with no fear, which I think is good.
I think that, I mean, were they even coming after comedians that much?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember everything. It was like a whirlwind. But the one thing that good came out of that, it was some of the abuse of some, you know, sexual harassment from powerful people who thought they could get away with it. That was some good stuff.
Yes.
We got to leave the comedy alone.
Yeah.
Just like, what's his name said? Who's the one? Oh, they're out. Kimmel. He's like, we can't touch comedy. You're right. So, remember he was mad a couple months ago?
Kimmel. I saw he was crying the other day over, it was, I guess, Peretti getting shot.
Oh. Well, it's a horrible situation. I didn't see him cry, though.
Yeah.
It should just not happen. Should not happen.
But Chappelle is as brilliant and gifted a comedian as there's ever been. I first really remember him, Jay Leno was using him like as a correspondent at the Salt Lake City Winter Olympics, like 1988-ish, maybe, I want to say. And hilarious, just hilarious.
He's pretty funny.
Now, it must have been after 88 because Carson would have still been on the air then. But just, he's you know, and he's a guy that he lives like in a small white community in Ohio. So he's been able to craft even a lot of his observations by what he's experienced in daily life, you know.
I'm still surprised you don't even know what Mad TV is.
That I don't know what Mad TV is?
Isn't that what we talked about a couple months ago? You know what Mad TV is?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it was Nathan.
Yeah. Maybe
I was perplexed.
Yeah. With Jim Carrey. Wasn't he on Mad TV?
Yeah, and then the Stewart skits.
The Wayans brothers.
You know the Stewart skits? Mama, I want to jump. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
No, Stewart. Those are so funny. That's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to watch a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. A lot of times before I fall asleep, I'll just be kind of scrolling through videos, and I love it when it's the comedians.
Mm-hmm.
So,
my favorite one is, well, he must not be that favorite. I forgot his name. Jeff something. Oh, dude, it's one where he, like, interacts with the crowd, and he plays off that. That's his whole thing. It's so, I got to find it. Dadgummit. I'll show you some later. I can't play it on air.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll get the name later.
Who's the guy, Matt? What?
Strife.
Yeah.
Rife.
Rife. He really
He's
plays
funny
off the
sometimes,
crowd.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, another call. Good morning.
Jeff Arcuri.
Jeff Arcuri.
So funny.
Okay. Good morning. You're on Talk About It.
Yeah, I'm worried about you. You're talking about shackles on a black comedian. You're really skirting the line there. So how could you not remember Chappelle being canceled? Remember some leftist tried to stab him one night at the Hollywood Bowl for what he said about trans people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, he's had his share. And the thing is comedians, that's what a court jester was. He dressed like that and played the fool so he could tell the truth to the king. And when we get back to realizing that comedians are a mirror to the fallacies and the problems and our prejudice and our bias and accept them for that, we have a problem. I mean, look at the most famous Saturday Night Live skit is Richard Pryor and Chevy Chase at the interview where they play the word association game. And basically they were holding up a mirror to each other's culture and saying how comical and stupid are these biases. And that's what we need to get back to.
Yeah. And Richard Pryor, I made the statement about Chappelle, but Richard Pryor might have been the most brilliant comedian of all time. I mean, that guy was amazing.
Yeah, he really was good, and he was groundbreaking. And just like Chappelle, his newest Netflix series is awesome. If y'all haven't seen it, it's awesome. Go watch it.
Okay.
Al, I got a book recommendation for you.
Okay.
Al doesn't read.
The author's name is Bacon, like the pork belly.
Not Dick Bacon.
Well, and it's The Gales of November, and it's the untold history of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Oh,
so I know
John Bacon. Okay.
Yep, it's great.
All right.
It's really great. One thing I'll share with you real quick is that from 1875 to 1975 on Lake Superior, there was average of one death per day for an entire century.
Wow.
So it is a very dangerous job those Lakers do. They don't call themselves ocean goers. They call them Lakers. I guess that's where the name Minnesota Lakers, before they moved to L.A., came from.
Yeah, Minneapolis Lakers. Well, Minnesota is known as the land of 1,000 lakes or whatever. So that guy, too.
Well, isn't that where Babe, the big blue ox, left hoof prints across Minnesota? I thought so.
Yep, you're right.
Okay, well, y'all have a good day, and don't cancel our comedians. They're a mirror to our society.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Take care.
See ya.
All right.
I was wondering if he was all right. We haven't heard from him in a while.
Yeah. No, the book, I'm looking at it here. One of my second cousins, his last name is Baylod. He is one of the premier, researchers when it comes to discovering Great Lakes boat sinkings or ship sinkings. He and some of his partners have made some groundbreaking discoveries. I've even heard them talk about stuff they've discovered on the news from time to time, like CBS News. So that is a whole fascinating area. And our friend of the show, Larry Jorgensen. We've had him on before you were here, though. But he's done a lot of work up in that Lake Superior area. He did a really good book a couple years ago about a ship that was carrying all of these brand new vehicles from Detroit to, it was supposed to, I think, go to Duluth, and it got shipwrecked. But then they had to, like, rescue all the cars off. This was, like, in the early 1900s. It's a great book. I'll look it up and find the title. But there's so much rich history in that area. I would, we had our friend on from Ohio who was talking about driving up that way toward Ashland. If you guys ever want to make a great summer trip, and it's not just Wisconsin itself, but that northern Wisconsin area up toward Lake Superior into the UP, and just the caves that are cut like into the cliffs along Lake Superior, just some amazing stuff. It's really, you could spend weeks up there and not even touch the surface of it.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
America's pretty.
He mentioned Bacon. The guy's name is John Bacon. John U. Bacon. And I mentioned Dick Bacon. He was a famous figure in Milwaukee history. There's a beach right there in Milwaukee called Bradford Beach, and he would be there every day, like in his Speedo. He was like a former bodybuilder, and he would be there in his Speedo getting tanned, and he was just like a legendary guy.
What about Bacon's Rebellion?
Bacon's Rebellion, there you go. Well, as long as I can eat bacon, I'm happy.
That's right.
We'll be right back.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics.
Attention all real estate agents, property owners, and lenders. When you or a client needs a real estate attorney, call the professionals at Thompson Law Firm. Whether the legal matter is basic or complex, the Thompson Law Firm can accurately guide you or your client to a successful outcome. That's why numerous industry professionals have trusted the Thompson Law Firm for years. They also handle estate planning, successions, and business law. Call them at 473-0052. I am a paid non-client attorney spokesperson.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Friday's AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. A wrap from the Senior Bowl, and Jay Johnson meets with reporters 2 weeks from opening day. Join us 3 to 6. Alexandria's 94.7 ESPN.
Now back to Talk Back. 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, as we wrap up the show, Super Bowl 60 will be a week from Sunday. And the NFL yesterday announced, Stephen, I was waiting for this year's Chief Kindness Officer. Yes, this is the thing. The prestigious role goes to Dar Man, who's a YouTuber with nearly 27 million subscribers, known for his scripted content. I don't know.
What's a Chief Kindness Officer?
Apparently they're going to be using NFL social media channels throughout the week to create content that will promote people being kind to each other, leading a series of digital, social, and on-the-ground activities designed to activate kindness and sportsmanship across fans and players throughout Super Bowl events.
Nothing like forced kindness to make everyone happy. They know that everyone just gets like an eye roll, right?
Yeah, and if you read, Adam Schefter announced it, and if you read the thread with the comments, yeah. As Rush calls it, the chickification of the NFL.
Chief Kindness Officer, now go hit each other upside the head.
Someone says, can I be the Chief Hatred Officer?
You've been listening to Talk Back. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenlaw Broadcasting.